Bruno Kastner. Richard Otto Bruno Kastner, January 1890 June 1932, was a German stage and film actor, screenwriter, and film producer whose career was most prominent in the 1910s and 1920s during the silent film era. Kastner was one of the most popular leading men in German films during his career's peak in the 1920s. Early life. Richard Otto Bruno Kastner was born in Forst-Lausitz, Brandenburg, Germany in 1890. His father was a forestry tax minister. Kastner attended schools in Fürstenwalde and afterwards served a short 17-day stint in the military before being relieved of his duties due to an injury. He subsequently traveled to Berlin and took acting lessons from stage actor Paul Weynsfeld, and then relocated briefly to Hamburg, where he performed at the Harburger Theater. After a brief period in touring companies, he worked as a choral singer and actor at the Meinhard Berner Bühnen in Berlin. Career rise. During World War I, Kastner avoided military service, assessed as unfit for service due to his prior injury while serving before the war's outbreak. Discovered by Danish film actress Estelle Nielsen, he made his film debut opposite her in the 1914 Urban Gad-directed comedy short Angeline Little Angel with Fred Imler and Hans Crawley. He followed the success of this film with the sequel Angeline's hot site Little Angel's Wedding in 1916. In the interim, Kastner quickly became a matinee idol in Germany, especially popular with female fans. The German press commented on Kastner's rise to stardom and how vexed postmen were having to transport love letters from fans to Kastner in laundry baskets. Kastner cemented his romantic image by appearing as the ardent suitor to popular actress Dorrit Weixler in a number of films of the era. Male filmgoers were less fond of Kastner's image of a handsome dandy and gave him the nickname Kleiderbügel coat hanger, a reference to his slim build and fashionable wardrobe. Although he didn't carry much clout with many male filmgoers, his popularity with female fans grew momentum. In 1921, Kastner was voted the best German actor in a magazine poll, and he began appearing that year in a film serial called Der Silberkönig, the Silver King, opposite leading lady Ossie Oswalda. The following year, he founded his own film company. Other popular films of the era included roles in Fritz Lang's Hilde Waren und der Tod 1917, Erich Lund's Das Herz des Casanova 1919, and Georg Jacobi's Das Paradies im Schnee 1924. Kastner wrote the screenplays for 4 films that he would produce and star in: Nur ein Diener, Das Herz des Casanova, Der letzte Sonnensohn, and Der Weltmeister, all directed by Erich Lund and released in 1919. Kastner's career was almost cut short in 1924 when he was involved in a serious motorcycle accident in Lugano, Switzerland, which left him with permanent pain. He never fully recovered, but after a year of rest and recuperation, he returned to the screen in 1925. Career decline and death. By the late 1920s, Kastner's career began to falter. No longer able to play the young, seductive bon vivant type which had made him famous, his roles in films grew smaller, although he still had a measure of success in such films as Karl Grun's 1926 drama Die Brüder Schellenberg with Conrad Veidt, Lil Dagover, and Lionhead, and the Jacob Fleck and Louise Fleck directed Der Orlo with Ivan. The onset of sound films proved disastrous to Kastner's career in 1930 upon the release of his first talkie titled Das Land des Lächelns, The Land of Smiles, when filmgoers discovered that he stammered. He would only make one more film, 1930's unsuccessful Tingel Tangel. After failing to garner any more film roles because of his speech impediment, he tried to revive his career by touring German theaters and permitting female members of the audience to get on stage and have their photograph taken with their past idol. Kastner suffered from depression after his rapid career decline. After 2 years of struggling to regain his public popularity, he rented a hotel room in Bad Kreuznach and committed suicide by hanging himself in June 1932. He was 42. Personal life. Kastner was married to German actress Ida Wust from 1918 to 1924. The union ended in divorce and produced no offspring. In 1925, he married actress Liesl Tersch Kastner. The couple were still married at the time of Kastner's death. Selected filmography. The Dancer 1915, The Lost Paradise 1917, Little Angel 1917, Hild Warren, Under Todd 1917, Wedding in the Eccentric Club 1917, The Onyx Head 1917, 5 Minutes Too Late 1918, The Last Son 1919, All Souls 1919, The World Champion 1919, The Golden Line 1919, The Boat of Los Curos 1919, The Heart of Casanova 1919, Only a Servant 1919, Devoted Artists 1919, Between Two Worlds 1919, Forbidden Love 1920, Alfred von Ingelheim's Dramatic Life 1921, The Secret of Castle Ronay 1922, Paradise in the Snow 1923, Comedians of Life 1924, Debit and Credit 1924, The Enchantress 1924, Colibri 1924, Darling of the King 1924, Three Waiting Maids 1925, If You Haven't It 1925, The Woman with That Certain Something 1925, Flight Around the World 1925, The Man Who Sold Himself 1925, The Ismans 1925, The Trumpets Are Blowing 1926, Vienna Berlin 1926, The Divorcee 1926, When She Starts, Look Out 1926, The Brothers Schellenberg 1926, Eva and the Grasshopper 1927, The Most Beautiful Legs of Berlin 1927, The Lady with the Tiger Skin 1927, The Orlov 1927, Luther 1928, Angst 1928, Fair Game 1928, The Duty to Remain Silent 1928, My Friend Harry 1928, The Land of Smiles 1930,